That's my cue. Hello everyone, welcome, welcome. Tonight is September, I don't know, and we are going to, I can't believe September 28th. It's like the end of September already. What happened to the month? September 28th, that's not possible. It was like Labor Day just a day ago. Time just goes too fast. Welcome everybody. Glad you're here. Thanks for being here. I'm so excited. We got so much fun tonight. We have so many good ideas. I'm just going to give you. Hopefully you'll be so inspired to just sew. If you don't know already, the new patterns are up. The first day of fall was Thursday. Last Thursday was the first day of fall, so our goal was to put them up right around the first day of fall. We're here. You can't put them up in summertime. Summertime's not fall. Fall is fall. This is fall. Patterns are here. All right, welcome, welcome. So for those of you, if there's anyone who's never been with us, if you're a newbie or a new person, I guess I shouldn't use all those slang terms, but newbie works. If you're a new person watching, welcome. Glad to have you here. That means you've heard from somebody that these are good, and we try really hard to make them good. So we hope that you've heard, and we hope you tell all your friends, and a lot of people are. So thanks for being here. The goal of this whole thing is to help you sew better, is to help you have more success, enjoy your process more. Really the goal is to make a target and hit the target. That's really the goal, because it's not really any fun to have a target and like miss it and then say, okay, well I'm going to do XYZ. You know, that's not the way it should be done. So the goal is here to make a target, hit the target in our sewing, and we're having a lot of fun. I know I am, that's for sure. Alright, so in our format, what we always do is we start the first section off with questions and answers. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start the first section off with questions and answers, and then we'll move on. And tonight we're going to introduce the new patterns. We're going to talk about the fall forecast, and then I've got a few little freebies I want to give you for ideas. All right? All right, questions. How did you finish the front edge and around the neck of the little wrap Nick and Zoe cardigan? I serged the edge, just turned under 3/8 and top stitched. You could put a band if you wanted to. Lots of different ways, but that's just how I did. In fact, I've done most of that. I've done that way. I've just serged the edge, tucked them under, and just use a matching thread. And if it matches, even if they flip to the wrong side or whatever, it looks really nice. Okay? No questions? You all are that smart? I was in DC yesterday. You are that smart. You are so smart. It's so exciting to go to these workshops and find out how smart you are, because you know all the answers. You know what L, C, and D is. I could give you a little lesson on L, C, and D. A little lesson. Do we want a little lesson? A little lesson. Okay, here's a little lesson. Okay, L, we know is length. It goes up or down. Now here's what I've learned, you guys. And I told them yesterday what I had learned, but I haven't told you all what I've learned. So what I've learned is the problem that you have with fitting is you go for the problem. You go right to the problem. And you can't figure out what that problem is. And as long as you go for the problem until you've taught yourself what the problem is, you're not going to be able to get the problem. So what you need to do is always do L, C, and D. The reason you're doing L, C, and D is as you work your way through and go through the process L, C, and D, I don't care if it's tops or pants, I don't care what it is, you are going to teach yourself what that wrinkle was. You're going to learn that it wasn't a length, you're going to learn that it wasn't circumference, you're going to learn that it was depth. So that's the reason you go in that order, is you're going to teach yourself what that problem is. If you go for the problem, you're not going to teach yourself what it is. And then you can't solve the problem, and then you email me and I solve the problem. But that's not teaching yourself. If you go through the order of L, C, and D, you will teach yourself what the problem was. Okay, that's really important. Okay, number 2. Length goes up and down. We know that. It's the bust point, it's the waist, it's the hip. Circumference is the sizing we pick, you know. And then depth is darting. and we know we have horizontal darts and we have vertical darts. Alright, so the only vertical dart is the waist dart. That's really the only vertical dart we're dealing with. I mean, sometimes there's others. The horizontal darts are the shoulder seam, the bust dart, the sway back, the hip line in the pants, and then at the top the inseam. So there, you know, there's not that many. Horizontal darts affect length, and vertical darts affect circumference. So a horizontal dart will never change the circumference. Horizontal darts will never change circumference. So many of you say, well, if I use a B cup, if I use a C cup, would I get more circumference? And we know the answer, nada. You can't have a horizontal dart and expect it to change circumference, because the only kind of darts that change circumference are vertical darts. See? Great, easy. Great refresher. Okay, it's all here. You heard it. We're good. Okay, question. With each new pattern, do I have to make another muslin, or can my adjustments from previous muslins transfer? Absolutely, your previous adjustments can transfer. The whole reason that we tell you there's a base is so that you can transfer the adjustments you've made. Because I stick with that same base. 195 is our sweater set. A lot of people say to me, how come you use that pattern so often? Because it's the base. 195 is the base. 600 is the blouse base. You know, etc., etc. I'm going to name them all. I get this question a lot. Tell me your base patterns. 195 is the sweater set. 600 is the blouse. 1900 or 1950, either one. They're the same pattern, just one has a collar and one doesn't. One's a shawl collar. 1950. 2009 Vera skirt, we have it as a pattern of the month. This month, get that pattern because that is a great base. 2009 is a straight skirt. It doesn't matter if it has, you know, fold on the front or something down the front, it's still the base. 2009, 3200 is the base pant if you're doing woven. 3400 is the yoga pant if you're doing a knit. And then the next is 4200, and 4200 is the sheath dress. That's it. Alright, so that's all the patterns I was ever going to have until you all wanted more. So now we have 4 more that have come out tonight. We've got a really good deal on them. You guys know all that, and it's online. Alright, questions? Okay, still working on Ellie's top. What was the reason for overlapping the back seam? It's cute, but why? That's it, just because it's cute. Ellie Tahari, Ellie's top was a real Ellie Tahari. I duplicated it just like Ellie Tahari, and I loved that back treatment. It was just a method of, it was just a style, but I just really, really liked it, and so I duplicated it. So it's not for fitting, it's not for anything, it's just for styling. How would you finish the neck edge of Sharon's blouse, pattern 300, without a collar? I don't know. Let's see. Pattern 300 Sharon's without a collar. I mean, it changes up the whole concept of the blouse. So that's probably not a quick answer. No, it probably couldn't even be an email. Brett said, could it be an email? Sharon's blouse has an invisible button front. So you're changing up a lot to take away the collar because it's a button up front. If it wasn't a button up front, it'd be a different issue. But because it's a button up front, that all blends in together. Boy, I don't... A button up front without a collar. I don't know. You've stumped me on that one. Off the top of my head, how would I finish it off? You know, normally if you slip it over your head, you have a facing. But a button up front has to have some kind of collar or something, something to finish off that raw edge. So off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Sorry about that. The hip line dart you take on jeans for wrinkles, would you call that a flat butt adjustment? I mean, no, because y'all don't need to hear you have a flat butt. And it's not a flat butt adjustment. I mean, it is, yes, I understand what you're asking. It's really more that you have a D cup pattern and you have a B cup butt. And so there's just too much fullness in the pant and your rear end's not taking it up. And so it sags down below. So a B is not a flat butt, it's just not as big as the pattern. And it's just pattern versus body. So to answer your question, yes, it is because your butt is flatter than the pattern, but I wouldn't say it's a flat butt. But I understand what you're asking, so I'm going to say yes, but no. I don't want to name it that generically because that's not what it is. But if you have a flat butt, then yes, you have that problem consistently, that the rear end has just got too much depth in it for you. The pant has too much depth. Okay, it's like calling women flat-chested if they have to, you know, you guys get it. No, let's not do that. Let's not name things, just things they don't have. Let's not make up names. The sewing industry has done that terribly. They just make up names and call things. Let's not do that. 4 inches below my waist is larger than my hip measurement. Is this the measurement I use to select size? Size for what? Size for pant? Nada. Because your legs are skinny. If you carry weight in your waist, your legs are probably very skinny. And so you don't want to pick a pant out by your waist because then the legs will be too big. You want to pick your pant out by your hip because then the legs will be skinny and then you can just make the pant bigger for your waist. Should you choose that for your skirt? If you're making a skirt, yes, that's fine to do that. And don't use it for anything else. So the only thing you'd use that for is if you're choosing a skirt. Other than that, you'd use your hip measurement for pants and you'd use your bust measurement for everything else. Okay? Can I talk about working with stretch leather? Yes, I did it. Here's a couple things. Here's a project I did. It's wonderful. We'll talk about it actually as we get in tonight. It's no... I mean, the biggest thing I want to take away for you all is it's very simple and it's really beautiful to work with, very easy to sew, very easy to iron, very easy to press, very easy to wash. It does all of, all of the above. It does everything really nicely. But we'll get into that because I used it on one of the patterns tonight. I used it on a couple of the patterns tonight. Hugo cardigan, does this have princess seams? It looks like it does on the photo, but not on the sketch. No, it does not have a princess seam. There is a seam, and it's the collar. The collar is a wide collar, but it is not a princess seam. It has a French dart. Okay, so I think on the photo on the back, it has a French dart. That's your B, C, and D cup. Okay. With all the different angles in dress 4013, where or how would I shorten the dress? If you will just go into those angles, actually when you put them together, if you put all those pieces together, you'll clearly see, first off, you have to decide how much you want to shorten it, and then you want to divide it up between the waist, the hip. Don't shorten above the bust, don't shorten the bust area, but you want to shorten the waist area, and then the hip area, and then the hem. So just divide it into those 3 parts. You probably won't be shortening it more than 4 inches. And so somebody told me the other day, I was at a workshop, that they were 5 feet and they had to cut 8 inches off the yoga pant. No way. I mean, no way. I said no way to them then and they argued. No way. I'm telling you right now, no way. You're not 8 inches shorter than a 5'8" person in half of your body. You're only dealing with the bottom half. The most you might have to cut away is 4 inches. I measured a person yesterday or 2 days ago. She was in my Chantilly class. She was 5 feet. We had the yoga pants on. She took away 4 inches. That makes sense. But you're not going to take away 8 inches on anything. That's the total height difference, but you're only dealing with half the body. Even with a dress, you're not dealing with the whole body. So the most you'll probably take away is maybe 6 inches. And if you do that, take 2 inches between the bust and the waist, take 2 inches between the waist and the hip, and then take 2 inches off the hem. And that should do it. Don't take anything off the top portion. Okay, because basically many of us are alike. Okay, what is the elastic or drawstring for on a Hugo cardigan? It's darts always make us look slimmer, and dart replacements can be like a drawstring. So the back has a drawstring. That was Hugo's cardigan was a Hugo Boss, and that drawstring was on a Lafayette 148 cardigan, and I really like that, so I kind of combined the two, and it's a beautiful look because when you have a cardigan on, the back can look thick, and that drawstring or that elastic, I don't care which one you use, really pulls it in very nicely. It's really a nice touch. We should do that on anything that is solid across the back. Okay. Alright, so let's start in, and then please ask questions as we go along, because some things I said, oh, I'll answer that, so feel free to ask it as we go along. So first off, I really want to say thank you for being here. We've talked a lot about why we do these at Silhouette Patterns. We produce a product called a pattern. And in production of that pattern, i.e. I, the pattern maker, cannot make a perfect pattern. I can't match everybody's shoulder angle out there. I can't match everybody's rear end shape. I can't get all of that perfect. I need you to understand how to do it. Do I think the patterns fit well? No question. I mean, I can't tell you how many years I worked on this prior to even having the patterns as a pattern maker. But mainly I want you to understand that I need you to understand fit. And the more you understand about fit, the happier the process will be in your sewing endeavor. It is not a difficult process. It's simply information that you need to have that maybe you haven't had, or maybe you've had information that was incorrect and you're replacing that information. Either way, the more you know about fitting, the more you'll enjoy sewing. I think that's a fair statement. I've heard it over and over again that from ladies who come to workshops that they're having so much fun. They finally know kind of what they're doing, they're really getting it right, and it's so much fun. I can tell you how much fun it is. I can also tell you that the reason that you may not be getting it right away is because you have a life and you're busy women, and so the goal of each of these webcasts is to make them packed with information so that they are worth your time. Dancing with the Stars is going on tonight, and I had an email that told me that they couldn't record Dancing with the Stars. They knew this was going to be recorded, so they were jumping ship. It's okay, but come back, because we know that we want to pack these full of information so you can really learn a lot in a little span of time. Okay, so the new patterns really mimic the trends for fall, because I am out there all the time. I know fashion. I know what's going on. I mean, I just watch it. I drink it. I sleep it. I enjoy it. And so to me, as long as I'm going to sew something, I want it to look new and fresh and current. I feel the same way about fabrics. We've talked a lot about stashes. We've talked a lot about the evolution of fabric and how it's changed so much. In this PBS series we're getting ready to do in another month, and I mean, it's just incredible. I'm doing a show on polyesters and how much they've changed over the years, and it's really incredible how much change there has been. So fabrics are changing. I also had a lady in a class this weekend who is from Idaho, and in her city and state where she lives, she doesn't have a fabric store. Once or twice a year she gets to a fabric store. I say, you know what, I get why you stash. Praise to the stash in that kind of case, because otherwise you have to stash. So I get that. But I'm going to remind you, with fall coming on, there are some amazing fabrics out there. We have an incredible amount of fabrics. Some we've gotten up, many more we don't. It'll be a weekly process. We've got that many fabrics in-house. So I want to say to you, these fabrics, every time I get new fabrics in, they're just so fresh and so incredible. They are what's in the stores. They are not old, they are not dated, and I would really encourage that whole process of looking fresh and new, and etc., etc. Okay, so having said that, the first pattern we have is pattern number 145. It's called St. John's Top. It happens to be the pattern I have on. The pattern cover is this one. I think is the one we used on the pattern cover. This is a beautiful mocha coffee colored rayon knit. We have it on site. I love it. I just absolutely love it. It's a beautiful look. It's a cowl, and the cowls are still remaining so popular, but this is another layer underneath the cowl, and then of course the cowl is asymmetric. So I think you can see with the one I have on, it doesn't cowl the whole way, it's only part way, and then it comes off to an asymmetric line. So beautiful, beautiful line. If you have any shoulder adjustments on the base or the knits, you would have the same shoulder adjustment on this one. Really just a great pattern. Quick to make, easy to make, and yet really current and really fresh. Alright, the next one we have is pattern number 415. It's called Fabiana's Top. Felipe Fabiana is an Italian female designer. She's in Nordstrom's, Neiman's. She's not new. She's been around for a while. She's got some absolutely beautiful designs. All in all, I would just recommend you check them out, even if it's online or wherever it is, because they have a lot of little twists to them. I'm going to go back. This was St. John. This was not from her, but she had one very similar to this, and then she had a little leather belt coming out from underneath the cover going to the back, and it was adorable. Just a little leather belt with a little buckle right here on the side. Very cute interpretation. I've not done it yet, but I just thought it was a great little twist up. We're seeing these cowls a lot, and the cowls have a base underneath them, and it's really nice. Yeah, this is the St. John knit. Yeah, this is the St. John knit that I have on the St. John pattern. But there are a couple other St. John knits, and they would both, all of them would, I think we've got 3 up right now, they would all work and they would all be pretty. The reason I picked the one I have on is because the St. John top is a cowl, and so it's very soft and drapey, and this is called brush strokes, or I can't remember exactly the name of this fabric, but I loved the softness of the brush strokes, and so I felt like the pattern and fabric combination was just right there. Yes. Okay, so then the top I had on last webcast was 415 Fabiana's Top. Again, she's an Italian designer. She does some beautiful things, very, very high priced. You know, I think this little top was $700. Just, you know, not cheap, but great ideas. You know, I would really encourage you looking. There's several layers here. Let me show you a couple others. This is the one that's on the pattern cover. And it's really fun because you can use different fabrics. So this is great if you just have a little of this and a little of that and you love the fabrics and you want to pull them together. It does great either in knits or stretch wovens. Either one works, and they work very well. The sleeves, you could contrast them up all kinds of different ways. Lots and lots of variations you could do with this. I'm going to show you. This is our rayon knit. This is a stretch stripe that we have online that I just really, really like. And then this is the St. John's knit, the bottom one. There's several St. John knits, but it's a solid one. And then I wanted to show you this one that we did. There's just a lot of fun ways to do this. So the goal is I hope that you'll really have fun doing them. And I did this just on a whole black-gray variation. You don't have to finish this edge. You could put trim on this edge. Lots of different ways, like I said. So this is one of the fabrics we have online that I don't remember the name to. We'll have it up after the fact. We'll have up the fabric after the fact. This is the charcoal gray knit again, and then this is the black rayon knit. Leopard jacquard. Leopard jacquard is what this is. And so you can see that when you take a print like that, it's a great way to get the focus and then really just complement it and go all with great color blocking. You can really do a number with color blocking. Certainly I could have done the sleeves with the jacquard if I wanted to. I could have done one sleeve one color, one sleeve another color. Again, lots of variations on that. Okay, and you can see I've made, you know, I'm only showing you 3. I've made at least 6. Just because they're fun to kind of pull together different fabrics and see, oh, which one you like. I made one that had a print right on the top, and it was a really strong print. I'm not sure where it is, but anyways, a real strong print, and then the other 2 are very subtle. And so it's very flattering because what it does is it really, as you can see with this one, this is that red-brown reversible. It really takes the eye right there. So it's a great top, and yet it's casual and simple and easy. You don't want to do this top with a negative ease, too much of a negative ease, because the layers, there's 3 layers, those layers won't lay flat. So you want to make sure that it is probably at least equal to your bust size. It can be a little smaller, but don't go too small. Normally if you're a size 5, maybe go in between a 5 and a 6, just to give you a little extra in that top so that it's not too small. Could St. John's top be lengthened into a dress? Smart girl. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I want you to be thinking, because personally I think even this one could be as well. I think that'd be an awesome dress. And as we get into winter, but keep in mind our biggest trend right now, and we're going to talk about trends here, is leggings. Leggings are just all over the place. I know, I think I said this 2 years ago, at least 2 years ago. Leggings, you guys, leggings, and everybody's looking at me like, nope, not doing that again. And now you're doing it, and that's because it takes us a while. But we have a great leggings pattern. I'm going to show you some leather leggings that I made back here. They leather stretch. We use the stretch leather. I'll talk about that here in a minute. Okay, so that's pattern number 415, Fabiana's top. Alright, then we did Hugo Boss the cardigan, and all of these are up, so you've probably looked at them or seen them. So any questions you have specifically, let me know. This is the one we did on the cover. I think I've worn it out by now. This is, we have the fabric online, and we have it in actually 3 different beautiful sweater. I'm going to call them sweater knits, because they're just absolutely gorgeous. There's a charcoal gray, there's a black, and there's a purple, and they're all gorgeous. They just, you know, they've got a little bit of what's the comment? I'm trying to think what the mohair. I think they've got a little bit of mohair in them. They're just beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. And when you look at a cardigan like this, you'd pay $1,000 for it easy in the store. The Hugo Boss was $7, but it was a cotton knit. No, what was it? I don't remember. But it was around $700, you know. So the fabrics are not inexpensive, but boy, they are well worth the price. And then the end garments you get, they're just beautiful, and you'll wear them for a long time. So the cardigan here has a wide collar. It comes around, it unrolls itself, so it almost looks like a lapel. It's a shawl collar, has a French dart, and then the back has a little bit of elastic or drawstring. You can do drawstring or elastic, it doesn't matter either one. And that simply is because when you have it on, a cardigan sometimes is solid in the back, and it looks much better if it's pulled in just slightly. So that's the purpose of that drawstring. Okay? Alright, then I wanted to show you another version. This I did with the stretch leather. Okay, so it's made with my everything, I'm not sure what that's called, my everything anyway. My everything and anything. I love this fabric. I'm crazy about my Italian everything and anything. This fabric is dual-sided. You could really use both sides to it. It's just absolutely so rich looking. I do not know. I know that it came from Italy. I don't know who the designer was, and I tried really hard to find out who it is, because I swear to you I've seen this in the store, but they didn't know, and they'd been looking up in their records, and they kind of couldn't figure out the guy that I buy from in New York. But it's just stunning. It is vertical, and the vertical is how it stretches. So it's absolutely been woven correctly so that the verticals could go up and down and stretch around in that direction. So all I did in this case with this cardigan is I did the front, the back, and the sleeve with the fabric, and then I went ahead and used the stretch leather coming down the front. And it's just rich. I mean, it's just rich. I don't know how any other word to say. It's beautiful, it's current, it's everything. It does stretch, yes. It does stretch. And you can, the stretch leather stretches one way more than the other way. So just when you turn the pieces, but it's the length. So you find that when you lay it out, it automatically, the longer way is the stretchiest way. So, you know, I've been working with company in France on how stretch leather is made, and they're not going to give up any trade secrets, but I just want the basics to know how they've created. This is a really intricate process, and they've done an amazing job. It's really beautiful. It's got a knit backing to it, and it's put onto the knit backing to where it sews just as if it was fabric. It's not though. It's still in the shape of a skin. The skins are large. I did this collar, and then I did a pair of stretch leggings. I've got two pairs. I'm not showing you one pair. I'm not showing you one pair, but I'll show you on that pair. And I saw this in Nordstrom's. They only did stretch leather on the bottom part of the legging. The top part was just a Pontoroma. So I did that. I used the Eileen Fisher knit on the top, and I used the bottom portion was the stretch leather. So I got this collar for this jacket and the bottom to the stretch leather leggings out of two skins. So I thought that was pretty cool that I got two whole garments, and they look fabulous together, by the way. I mean, they just look incredible. They're just beautiful. They're really, really beautiful. But don't fear the sewing. Don't fear anything on the stretch leather. You might fear the price a little bit, and you want to make the leggings before and then make them out of stretch leather because, you know, it's $100 a skin. But when you go and look at stretch leather, I mean, the really nice stretch leather, you're looking at $1,000, $1,500. It's really, really pricey. And I'm talking the nice stuff. This is the nice stuff. This is, who's got it out? Ralph Lauren has a beautiful pair of stretch leggings out. So this is really nice quality. It's not your inexpensive stuff. You don't need to line the leather. No, you don't want to. They would be just like a pair of leggings because you can wash it. So initially the very first thing I did is I cut little swatches, I washed it, but this was a while ago. Stretch leather has been out now for, I had it at least last year, and you have to recognize that it's going to be out a while before the manufacturers start using it and start taking a risk with it. It's going to be all over. I mean, it's all over for fall, but it's really beautiful. And a lot of times you see a faux leather and the garment's like $200 and $300. By the time you get to a real leather, it's $600 on up. Elie Tahari, anything with leather on it is $700 to $1,000. So it's not inexpensive, but it's just so beautiful, and it's just really pretty. The leather skirt I lined just simply because it was a skirt, and I wasn't relying on the stretch for fit, so that's why I did that. All right. Did I make the belt show? This is a what? Oh no, did I make the belt? No, I bought the belt. I know this sounds really funny, but every Fit to Stitch season, when it's over, when we've taped the Fit to Stitch, Jeannie the model, we usually go shopping, and we both bought these matching belts. So we both have one of these, and I really like them, and I think they were on sale for $30. We each got one, but they're pretty. They're leather, and I wear it all the time, and I really like it. So that was our reward, and I don't remember what series it was. It was just a little reward for us. I do remember that. Okay. How do you care for it? You don't need to care for it, really. It's just sew on it like regular fabric. I am going to, let's go ahead and, you know, this is the fur, and I haven't got through all the patterns. I'll get back to them, but you know, fur is everywhere for fall. Fur jackets, just fur capes, fur everything. So we have real fur and we have faux fur. We have some faux fur that we put up today. It's just really, really beautiful. I mean, when I go to New York and I find these fabrics, I think y'all know that when I flap my arms, I just get really excited. I was in New York and I was shopping, and the one guy that I shop from, he's buying a lot from Italy. And I just sat there flapping my arms. And I think he looked at me like, what is wrong with this woman? But I was just so excited that I was flapping like crazy. But when we got to this part and we pulled out these beautiful furs, and I know that some of you have gotten these and you've written me, you've emailed me about how amazing these are, just so much prettier than they are online. They are. But I wanted to give you a little formula, because the back of each of these, or we put up on the site how many square feet approximately they are. And I've gotten a lot of questions. How much do I need to buy? How much do I need to buy? For those of you who have ordered leather, we had bought an initial batch from Italy, and I just didn't know how it would go, and all of that's gone. It's all sold. And so we're waiting on the second batch to come in. So there's a few people that are on back order, but we should have it in this week. And once we get it in, we'll get all that shipped. But I've had this question a lot. How do I figure out how much leather I need? So we have a leather DVD, but I'm going to give you this formula off of that so that you can kind of follow along. On the back of your pattern, whatever you're making, you're going to have number of yards and how wide that yardage is. So the example I'm going to use, just for an example, I'm going to use 3 yards and I'm going to use 60 inches wide. And my pen's not working great. But anyway, you'll get this. So I convert everything to inches. So 3 yards would be, is that right, 108 inches? 36, 72, 108 inches. 108 inches is 3 yards long. Then I times that, times how wide my fabric is, and my fabric is 60 inches wide. Alright, so that comes out to 6,480 inches. Okay? Then I divide this by 144. 144 because leather is sold by the square foot. And a square foot is 12 by 12, and that's 144. So I take this number and divide by 144, and that will give me, okay, so 108 inches is 3 yards, 60 inches wide, gives me 6,480. I divide by 144. What does that give me? Wow, you're smart. 45 square feet. So you can freeze that for a minute until you figure out that formula. Now, when I have the number of square feet that I need, then, you know, just to make sure you have enough, you might want to buy an extra skin. You can always use, I had an email today, how many do I buy, but I want to have extra for trim. I mean, I honestly think you can never have too much leather trim. I'm always putting it here, there, wherever, and it's always nice to just have enough, and then it's free. It kind of feels free after that, right? But anyway, so you want to, when you're cutting it out, you want to lay your big, I just made a leather jacket over the weekend, and I had 5 skins, and I was, just make sure you lay your biggest pieces out first, and then go from there. Okay, so that's your formula as to how to figure out how much to buy and where to go. And again, don't be afraid. If you can't do a whole pair of leggings, do the bottom. This back here is a pair of leather stretch leather leggings. Anyway, we can't get it, but you know, the pair I saw at Nordstrom's, let me think the designer, so you can maybe Google it and find it out. Just go into Nordstrom's and look at leather leggings, and they were above the knee, about 4 inches above the knee. They were stretch leather from the bottom, and the top was all just a regular knit fabric. Now the reason that's so cool is because your tops come down low. You know, our tops go over our tummies and over our rear ends, and so and that takes up a lot of fabric to do the crotch and the top and the tummy and all that. So you're actually only using a little bit of leather on the stretch leggings, and these stretch leggings were like $400. So this is a great way to get leather leggings but not spend a lot of money and just have that little touch. And then I have another pair where I just put like patches on the inside of the knees. You guys have seen them. I've worn them all over the place. Anyway, that's another idea, just to put some kind of trim on them, either on the outside, the inside, or something like that. Okay, back to the patterns. Our last pattern is pattern number 3015, and it's this one right here, and it is Evan Lee's culottes. 3015, correct? 3015. Evan Lee has is a customer who's beyond the best of best customers around. Just the best woman. Many of you know her. She lives out inside of Atlanta. She's an amazing woman. She really is. And so we wanted to name a pattern after her, just to let everyone know what a terrific person that she is and what a great friend she has been to Silhouette Patterns. So Evan Lee's culottes is the name of these. These are a split skirt, fabulous for fall because they work perfect with your boots. even with your tights, if you want to wear just a pair of flats with them. And they work great in so many different fabrics. These are easy to make, they're quick. This is a rayon viscose knit, drapey, soft, wonderful. And we have this fabric actually. I did not get it up. We'll get it up tomorrow because I saved this fabric. I just love this. It's a perfect combination for a bottom piece because it's wonderful to contrast it with other colors up above. Okay, so those are our 4 patterns. Da, 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 da. Perfect. Okay, and you know what? It's amazing how it took us 10 minutes to tell you that, but they have taken us months to create these patterns. There is a lot of work behind the scenes, but anyway, we really hope you enjoy them. This special goes through Sunday, only through Sunday. So it is, and we have them, so we're shipping them starting tomorrow. And basically, you get a pattern free. Actually, more than a pattern free. Yeah, you get like a pattern and a half free. Because they're all, yeah, you get like a pattern and a half free. You only pay $35 for all 4 of them. Okay, so going back to fall, what's new? Big trends in fabric, leather, fur, stretch, everything's stretching. And then of course the tops that are hanging below the sweaters. You guys, it's so easy to accomplish that look. I hope you don't buy that. Don't buy that look. You want to just take a blouse, like classic blouse or any of the blouses, Sonia's blouse, whatever it is. Make the blouse, make it long, and then make the sweater shorter. It's a great look, but just do your 2 layers rather than just making it 1 layer. The only reason they're doing 1 layer is because it's cheaper for them to manufacture, so they're just sewing the blouse onto the bottom of the sweater. But it's a great look, but just actually make your layers, and you can use a sheer. So you can make a sheer like a 575 Sonia's blouse and make it long, and then you can come along with a sweater over it or a poncho or a cape or something like that and have the blouse hang out lower than the sweater or with a cape. And then of course your leggings are on underneath, and it's a great look. It's extremely contemporary and it really looks nice. Okay, so I want to show you a couple things that we did so that you can, accessories are large. There's a lot of great accessories out there. They're making wraps and fur. They're making just all kinds of little things in fur and in leather. So if you're nervous about, you know, using fur or using leather for a lot of stuff, just use it a little bit and get comfortable with it, and then, you know, kind of build your way up. So I want to show you the first one. I'm going to go to this right here, and this is called the Vinyasa scarf. Now I just learned about this yesterday, and thanks to Michelle in DC, Washington DC, she was at the workshop yesterday, and at the end of the workshop she told me about this, and I had not seen it. And so today I ran over to Lululemon and I saw it, measured it, came home, made it so that you all could see it, because I really think it's very cool, and I really think that it would be a great addition to your fall wardrobe, and it would be a great gift if you're looking to just say thanks to a neighbor or something, just to be kind. I think this is a great gift. So here's the scarf. Let me kind of show you how it's done. Lululemon's scarf is just made out of a sweatshirt, and it's got snap tape. So I really wanted to step it up a little bit. It's $50, but I was really wanting to make it nicer than that. So what I did is I used, this is the gray, black gray, I don't remember the rest of the name, but we just put it up today. And then what I did is I used the snaps. We have a lot of these snaps and they're awesome. And so even when they're undone, they have a great look to them. The snap tape, I mean, it's okay, but it kind of reminds me when my kids were little and changing their diapers, snap tape. For me, I guess maybe because I have 4 children, I had a hard time getting past the snap tape. But if you're okay with snap tape, you can use snap tape. Let me just show you the dimensions of the scarf. The dimensions of the scarf are, you're going to go 24 inches wide this way, and then you're going to go 30 inches across. So 30 inches this way. So that's actually 60 inches. So what I did is I used 60 inches wide was this particular fabric, and then I just cut 24 inches, which is not quite 3/4 of a yard. I cut 3/4 of a yard so I could have enough to hem. And then all I did was serge all around it, all 4 sides. It's just a rectangle piece of fabric. And then I hemmed the top portion. This is such a beautiful piece of fabric. It just hemmed beautifully. I mean, it literally doesn't even look like it's a hem. I know you can't see it, but it looks like it's just almost like a selvage. It looks like it's just a part of that fabric. It's really pretty. And then on the front, what I did is I just sewed on the little snaps. And on the ends, on the sides, I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping around. I just did this a couple hours ago. On the sides, I turned under 3/8 inch and just top stitched. But on the ends, I turned it under twice and top stitched. And I left it about 1 inch wide so they would hold the body of the snaps. So there would be enough bodies that I could clearly yank the snaps and not worry about the knit itself stretching or giving or having any problems. Okay, now I'm going to say this again, the Vinyasa scarf, Vinyasa. If you'll go to Lululemon, because this obviously doesn't look like much, but if you'll go to their site and go into scarves and accessories, they have a little video of 12 different ways to do this scarf, and I'm going to tell you something, it's really cute. It's really cute. It's your freebie tip for the fall, and it's adorable. So yes, there are ways that they do it like this, just normal. But then they start doing a hood. They actually start doing a shirt that's worn and the snaps unsnap and they snap at different levels and go to your back. I don't need to ruin the presentation because the presentation's really good, but I think you'll like it. My job is to just simply make you aware of it and let you know that we've got great fabrics if you want to scale it up a little bit. This fabric would be terrific. This two-tone color, this red brown, and then there's the other one that's the gray. Both of those would be fabulous. And as long as that fabric's 60 inches wide, you only need a yard. So it's really a fun little game to play. Okay, the other one I wanted to give you is, I'm going to move this out of the way at this point. And I'm looking for this. Now again, capes, ponchos, all of those things are so strong for fall. So I wanted to do this one for you. This one was at Neiman's, and it was only $600. So what a deal, right? Again, it's two-sided fabric. You don't have to use two-sided fabric because what I did is I made it up twice. And the reason I made it up twice is I wanted you to see it in a heavier fabric because again, it pulls over the head, but I also wanted you to see it in a silk. I mean, I think this is absolutely stunning. This fabric is called the Deep Purple Rain silk. It's just absolutely beautiful. So pretty. It's pretty to make, pretty to put on. It's just beautiful. So if you have a silk, you're going to need 2 yards. And let me show you how to make the pattern. I'm going to start with Anne's top. I started with Anne's top because of the collar. And I started with Anne's top because I know so many of you have this pattern. So this is a really easy start point. This is what the pattern looks like that you're going to start with. So I'm going to put the pattern behind it and show you that what I did is I traced the neck edge. And I made it 28 inches long from here to here. What you want is you want to make it long enough to where it goes down past your crotch. That's the look that it's supposed to be. Then what I did, if you notice, is I took it from the base of the neck here and I extended this out, and I extended out 18 inches, and then I extended that down, this out 18 inches, and then connected the two. So 18 inches out this way, 18 inches out this way, and of course different sizes might be different sizes, but pretty close there. And then 12 inches out, you want to come up 2 inches, and then go the other 6 inches. And I'll show you why here in a minute. You're actually going to stitch this little section so that there actually are like arms in this thing. So the only place you're going to stitch is up here at the shoulder seam. You're going to stitch up here and over here. And that's it. No French dart. You leave all that alone. And then you actually just copy it. So if you look at this, this is the exact same for the back. The only difference is is the neckline I copied off the back. So if you put these two pieces together, you see that these two pieces are the same. And the reason being is because you're going to sew down here. Alright, so then the next thing you need to make is the collar. And again, I'm starting with Anne's collar in the size that I used. And the only thing I did different, if you notice, is I made it a little bit wider, just like an inch. And then also I made it an inch wider. This is the neck edge. This is what sews to the neck. Okay? So when it folds over, it would be wider at the edge of the neck so that it'll fold down and come down a little bit. If Anne's collar is meant to be folded in half and doubled, you're not going to do that. You're actually going to just let it fold over itself, and you want it to be wider so that it will come down a little bit. Now what I did is, again, let's go back to this piece for a minute. This is going to be the part that sews to the neck, and this is going to be the outside edge. I put this on the selvage so that as it folded over, I would have my selvage right here. The fabric, the selvage on this fabric is so pretty that I wanted to utilize it. And then you're sewing the right side to the wrong side of the neck edge, and then you're bringing it to the outside so that you can see that it covers that seam. It's just a great look. It's just a really pretty look. On the side, what I did is this is where it sews here and here, and then I just hemmed it on the side where it's open. I could have done it the other way, but I decided because the back was so beautiful, I wanted to see that it was two-sided. And you can see as it hangs like that, it shows you both sides of the fabric. So it's just really, really beautiful. Very simple, you know, just ridiculously expensive, and yet really simple to do. So use Anne's base, Anne's top as the base, and just turn it into a poncho and throw it over. And it's great in so many different fabrics. Like I said, I did the silk. You could do this over a pair of leggings and just be so dressed up. Just put on a little shoe with it, a little boot, and it just looks beautiful. Go to dinner or go wherever else you're going to go. Or this could be with jeans and just casual and warm if you're going out to a football game or wherever. So you can just cuddle up in this little poncho type thing and still look great and stylish. All right, questions? The skins, the leather skins and the stretch leather skins and the fur, all of those sizes, they're all about the same size. So I put the size on the site when we were talking about what size they were on the site. Like this is 3.5 square feet. So I think I put on there the size of each one, approximately X number of square feet. And so if somebody's ordering one, I try to get, you know, the biggest one we can, but they're mostly all the same size. We've shipped quite a few of them and they're all the same size. All right. The poncho takes 2 yards. Poncho takes 2 yards because it's going to be 28 inches long, or I made mine 28 inches long, and then you need enough for a collar. So it'll take up the whole 2 yards. Unless you want it longer, you could go knee length, because a lot of these ponchos and capes right now are really going long. I think knee length is a little bit too long. It almost looks too potato sackish. Can I say that? Not to offend anybody's style out there, but I almost think it's too long. I think it gets too boxy. So I think if you keep it just at, you know, right at the crotch length, I think that's the most flattering. Then come in with little skinny jeans or leggings underneath. Are we good? All right, so we have done our job. Our job was to bring you new patterns and bring you for fall fashions, and hopefully you're so excited that if we stop 2 minutes early, you've got 2 more minutes to sew that you wouldn't have normally had. All right, so we're going to say thank you. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. September is National Sewing Month, and I figured out why. because in the summertime we're so busy and we're out, but now we're starting to really nestle and collect and get ready, and we want to sew, and it's a great month to be National Sewing Month. It really is. So we want to say, we won't see you again until October. Happy National Sewing Month. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks. All right? Happy sewing. Good night.